In a world of endless noise, one sound cuts through. GC Radio Hub. Your world, your sound. Imagine your favorite voices following you everywhere. From your smartphone to your car, your smart TV, even your virtual assistant. GC Radio Hub connects you to a universe of content. Check out our wonderful interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, live music shows and podcasts. All at your fingertips. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick TV. We're there wherever you are, because the only way to stay connected is to get connected. Download the GC Radio Hub app today and let your world come alive.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? We're live here today on the one and only Square Magazine, Coach's Corner New Hot Show with the one and only legendary John David, and our wonderful host today in the building is Nate Campbell. Coach, how you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing good, brother. Just getting ready for this next interview.
Mr. Campbell, how you doing today?
Mr. Campbell, my dad, I'm regular old Nate. I don't know why y'all get that, where y'all come with that. I'm a regular old Nate.
Man, I'm not trying to tell your age. It's out of respect, bro.
Don't nobody care about my respect. Just go ahead and call me regular old Nate. I call John Mr. before he called me. No, I don't do that. I'm being interviewed by one of my favorite people in my life, so this is a big thing for me.
So Nate, we've been talking, but so how to just give the fans a quick synopsis of your amateur career again. When did you start boxing as an amateur?
I started boxing at 25. I had my first amateur fight at 25. I fought in the Sunshine Games. As a matter of fact, that's when I won my very first fight. I fought in Kissimmee, Florida, at the American Gladiators Arena, right across from Medieval Times down 1492, some the area down there. And I always jugged lady, the beautiful lady, Christine Filiberto, who was a referee, and her husband was the president of the he ran the LBC, Frank Filiberto, and I didn't have my birth certificate, so she wasn't gonna let me fight. And I walked outside. I left my driver's license inside, and I walked outside in the car. And I cried. My heart was broken. I trained for months for this, and to get here, because I don't have a birth certificate, they're not gonna let me fight. And my daughters are here, my niece is here, my daughters, my nieces, my nephew, my godson, everybody's there. And I walked back in to get my driver's license, and Filiberto said, "Did you sign up for the fight?" I said, "She told me I couldn't fight because I don't have a birth certificate." He said, no, he can fight, but he can just use his ID because it's not an ongoing tournament. It's not like going to another tournament. This is the tournament. And there was a big smile in my life changed all at once. Now, getting there was a hard thing because my wife had told me if I didn't do well, I had to quit. Her exact words. Yeah. So there was a lot of pressure on me at that point. And I went out and won both fights by knockout. By brutal, one of them was one of the most brutal knockouts of the tournament history. People still talk about it this day. So that was my introduction to boxing. That was the first time I had ever been to a boxing match, by the way. I had never been to a boxing match. So the very first time I went to a boxing match, I was in it.
So let me ask you a question with that. Having said that, so did that tournament alone, was that the deciding factor? This is what you want to do for the rest of your life, or was there another point in your boxing career when you really said, "This is what I want to do"?
Well,
let me say that you knew that you were good at, that you could do it.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't think I was that good because everybody was winning, but me. Yeah. In the gym, I tell folks I'm telling you, them joke was passing me around like a joint. It was passing me around like a joint. They was wearing me out. I can't make this up. a guy named Dino Ferrari who actually owns the Galaxy. He gave me the name. It was his name. Galaxy
Okay.
was the name of a computer store, and
Okay.
it was boxing at the Galaxy. So it wasn't Galaxy Gym. It was boxing at the Galaxy computer store. But
Mm.
we started calling it Galaxy Gym, and I made the name big. He hates the name to this day. He says, "Man, I hate that name." I said, "What you mean you hate that name?" He's like, "You made it big, but I just never thought much of it. It was a computer store." So to him, when he sees my logo, when he sees the logo, he sees this logo,
Yeah.
he trips on what we did with that name. To him, he can't fathom what it has become. A boxing astronaut. He just can't, he can't
Mm.
see that it's on boxing gloves and t-shirts and tennis shoes and he just can't see it. So he never, for me, I just never saw it any other way. But boxing became my way of life. It became my refuge. It was where I could go walk in the gym and forget everything else around me. Nothing
Right.
else mattered. And I needed that distraction at that point in my life, and boxing was the right distraction.
Okay. Well, so as an amateur, what I guess what point in your amateur career made you realize, you know what, I can do this and I want to turn pro?
Ooh, after my first two fights, they tried to turn me pro.
Are you for real?
I can't make this up. I was considered so natural at what I was doing by everybody
Yeah.
around me.
Yeah.
They say, "Dude, do you?" And I'm like, "Dude, I got 2.5 punches. I got a 1, a 2, and somewhat of an uppercut, and it's a right uppercut because I didn't learn a left uppercut till John got with me. That's another story. Um, I didn't have a left uppercut. I didn't have a
Yeah.
left hook. I had 2 punches, 1, 2. They was good 1, 2, but that was all I had, and I had a right uppercut, but I didn't have nothing else. And
Okay.
to them, it was like, "He'll learn on the job." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm going pro. I'm not going pro. I'm gonna stay amateur because it don't cost me nothing here, and I might
Right.
make the Olympics." So I made the decision to stay amateur. I only had four novice fights. Then I went open. I went open my fifth fight.
So-
Wow.
okay. So after the fifth fight, did you how many nationals did you go to? Did you attend? Or either Golden Gloves or
I
AAU
went to
or
I
ABF,
went to
whatever
the
you want to
U.
call
I went to USABF. I went to USABF twice. I went to the Golden Gloves twice. I went to the PALs once. So I went to 5 nationals.
it. Okay.
And I
And,
went
and,
to, yeah.
of all them cats, who were the guys that kind of made it big to your level as world champion that you remember?
Oh man, dude. Me, Jermaine Taylor, Jeff Lacey, Kelly Pavlik, Stephen Cunningham. Oh, 2000 was a hot class.
Okay.
Me and Steven was together. Me, Steven, Kelly was together last night. Um, Rocky Juarez was with me.
Okay.
Brian Valoria was with me. Um, ooh,
So you had a good class then. Good.
we had a
Good.
great class. It was a great class of amateurs. Ricardo Williams was in my class.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah, we had a great class. We had a great. I think that was probably the last good amateur class where everybody was. I never forget when Kelly Pavlik lost to Jermaine Taylor in the Nationals.
Okay.
I looked Jermaine Taylor in the face. I never forget telling Kelly, I said, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna come back from this. You're gonna beat him next time you see him." And I just
Mm.
believe that. I believe.
Yeah.
And this is Kelly Pavlik, not the bald-headed Kelly Pavlik.
Right.
This is Kelly Pavlik with the Jason Bieber haircut, dude. And I mess with him. I mess with him every time I see him. He had the Jason Bieber haircut. This is
Yeah.
how far back I go with him. And hell, Ebo Elder. Me and Ebo Elder was in the same on the same team. I want and everybody like while I'm talking about it, I want everybody to pray for Ebo Elder. He's fighting brain cancer. I went by and
Okay.
saw him the other week. I drove down to where he was. I drove an hour and a half from Warner Robins, Georgia, up to where he was in the middle of nowhere. He lived in the middle of nowhere in
Yeah.
a small, beautiful little small Georgia town. And I got to hug my friend. I
Yeah.
got to hug my friend, and a lot of people don't understand something. For me, I don't have many people that I call friend, really
Right.
friend that for years. John David, Roy, and Kenny, but Evo Elder's been my friend Who? Since 1997.
Okay.
We've been friends since 1997. We were stable mates together at Savannah, Georgia. So when I see him and I see him fighting and going through what he's going through, it's hard to not be touched by that.
Right.
But we had a really good class. We had a really good class. 2000 was a great class.
Yeah. So
Paulie Malignaggi was in my class.
okay. Yeah.
I remember when Paulie was 17, he had the Jersey Shore Spike dude.
You're a nut. Let me tell you, you're a nut.
Dude, we joke about this. You know, me, Paulie, and my guy Adonis on a group chat. So everybody like Nate talking about how good my memory is, how I remember what people look like and how they were. And so Paulie's favorite thing is I got a Golden Glove shirt from Syracuse with Nathaniel Campbell. I said, you gotta call my whole name, bro. You gotta do that. You gotta call me. You don't know about my first wife or my second wife still looking for me for back money. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. but we've been friends for, man, that's what, 20 something years? Almost close to 30 years I've been friends with these guys.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
When was your first pro fight?
February 5th.
And how was it? Did it last long?
I got him, coach. I got him. I fought it. Here's the crazy part. I fought at 147. I walked around at 128, but they couldn't get me nobody small to fight me. Check this out. This is my first fight.
Okay.
I fought a guy named Schoenfields. Look how little Jade was. Janae and Jasmine, they were little. I was 27 years old. And
how many rounds did it go? How many rounds did the fight go?
I started before the bell stopped shining. I tried to cut him in half, coach. And he was left-handed too. All I knew how to do, I threw a right hook. I threw that right hook at him and hit him with the whole thing. When I say the whole thing, I hit him with the whole thing. Hey, when I hit him, I could feel in the glove. I found a glove called Walters. The foreign that Walter got. There was those gloves were thinner than Reyes gloves.
Lord have mercy.
So when I hit him I threw a jab in his shoulder, and the first shot I hit him on the shoulder and knocked him down. Bing. I said I know I can hit him on the shoulder, so I'm gonna step in with the jab next time and aim at his throat. I hit him around the chin. It sounded like a white melon when I hit him. Glove, all the air came out that glove. I could feel my knuckles hit him in the face. But it was over quick.
What year did you turn pro?
2000, February 5th, 2000.
Okay.
I turned 28 1 month and 2 days later.
So, I actually, question.
Yeah.
So you told us when you start off, you had 2.5 punches, and when you became a pro fighter, did you develop the other half punch? How many punches you felt you had? By
the time I went pro, I had the 1, I had a 2, I had a as Pete Fernandez told me I had a POS. He said I had a POS left hook. But I told him, I said, I don't really need that punch that much. If I can hit you with the 1, 2, I can get you. That's what he said. So in my first 10 fights, I didn't have a hook. I didn't have a real hook. It was trash. I had a 1, I had a 2, I had a raggedy 3, I had a banging 4. My 4 was great. I had a banging right hook. It was banging. I threw it to the body and the head.
I can attest to that.
You sparring with him, coach?
We'll talk about that later on.
hey, don't let him fool you. John David has given out some of the best whoopings in the gym. He talk all that trash. John David used to make everybody used to come out to the corner with John Davis be like, dude, he 45 or 25. John to make you doubt yourself. But Pete Fernandez taught me how to throw a left hook.
Right.
properly. He taught me how to lift it properly. And I really got good at it too. I really got good with it. But I still had one shot that I would not throw it. I could throw it, but I did not throw it. And John David developed that shot.
So okay, so that's your first fight. So when did you, as a pro, when did you really believe in your heart? I can become world champion doing this.
Day one.
It may have been before you even got in the ring, but what fight really made you let you know I can do this?
My fourth fight.
Okay, yeah.
My fourth fight, I fought my third fight. I fought John Trigg, and I stopped John Trigg. Then I fought a guy. That was 7-0 with 5 knockouts. And Jimmy Walters said, "Well, you beat old John. Let's see if you. I mean, you can fight a little bit. Let's see if you can beat this boy right here. We're gonna put you in a 6-rounder in this fight right here, down here in Miccosukee." John laughing because he knows that's how Jimmy talk. So he said, so Jimmy said, the boys, Olivas, Sergio Olivas is who you gonna fight. He's 7-0. He said, and Jimmy hadn't even signed me yet. But so it's me, Jaime Palmer, in Miccosukee don't have a dressing room for small fights like this. They put a little petition up where the chairs go at.
Yeah.
And so what Spanish I get from the gym. And so I hear them talking about calling us trash and bums. And they put a table like this in front of you. So Jaime Palmer is Puerto Rican, so he speaks fluent Spanish. So I tell Jaime, I say, we warming up in the back, and I'm going first because Jaime's fighting Canelo Ramos, 5-0 with 3 knockouts.
Right.
He was supposed to be the one that everybody wanted to see. My kid was like 1A, 1B. He was 1A, but they were both like top guys. So they talking, and Jaime's sitting over in the corner like this, John. I heard him say, "Bum." I looked over at Jaime. I said, "What'd he say?" What'd he say? I had my gloves on, right? I said, "What'd he say?" And he said, I said, "What he said?" He said, "What they call?" I said, what he said, man? And I'm mad now. He said,
"Yeah,
they calling us bums and saying that they're gonna knock us out." Blah blah blah. I said, "What?" I jumped off the floor and landed on the table, right off the ground. I looked at him. I said, they had a little petition. I reached in the petition like Jack Nicholson in when they played The Shining. Yeah. I pulled the curtain and stuck my head. So I said, "We're gonna kick y'all ass. Fuck y'all. I'm going off. Frank reached up and grabbed me by the back and snatched me off the table. They closed the curtain back up, and I'm talking loud now. I'm what? It was whatever now. I looked over behind him. I said, "And you better knock him out. I'm beating you up out here tonight. Do you hear me?" Jaime was nervous. Jaime said, "Yeah." I go out, and me and this boy, we fight a fight. He headbutted me in the second round, but I didn't care nothing about that. I beat him up and ruined him, knocked him out in the 6th round. Instead of going Jimmy come to the ring. Jimmy come to the side of the ring with a basic old-fashioned contract. He said, "You read that right there? We're going to put in there what you want." Gave it to me just like that. Old Florida contract. Yeah. Basic Florida contract. We're going to put the numbers in there together. And Jimmy said, "Go in the back and get dressed." I said, "Nope, I'm not getting dressed." I went in the back and I walked Jaime to the ring and I stood there with my little ringside outfit on. Yeah. And Jaime Palmer was bought in just like we was bought in the B-side. I never forget it. Jaime Palmer got his first stoppage that night.
Okay.
Jaime cut Canelo Ramos wide open and stopped him. Beat him up and stopped him. Both of us walked out there, and people don't know how close me and Jaime are. Me and Jaime he was the 132 pounder. No, he was the 125 pounder. I was the 132 pounder in the National Golden Gloves team in Syracuse. So me and Jaime was more than just two guys that was fighting in the same dressing room. Jaime like my little brother. I was the best man at his wedding, 16 years ago. And this is, and the funny thing about it is, I made a pact with Jaime that I would come to see him fight. This is that team. This is Jaime,
Mm-hmm.
and this is me.
Mm.
Lou Harris, Lou Martinez, Harold Weiland, Mark Streisand. Dude, a lot of these guys in the Hall of Fame now.
Okay.
And we had good people around us. And but Jaime was just nervous, and I couldn't let him let himself down. And I'm like, for me, it was like we were still Team Florida. And so far as I was concerned, they was in our backyard. We had to make sure they knew it. And besides, they was calling us bums. But after that fight, I knew I could be champion.
Okay. Yeah. So after that fight, so how many before you suffered your first professional defeat? How many wins did you have in a row?
I was 23-0 when I lost my first fight. 23-0 with 21 knockouts.
Who was the first guy that you lost to, whether it be a robbery or whatever? Who was the first guy you lost to?
Casamayor.
Well, that was a robbery.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something, Coach, and I'm gonna tell you something.
Good fight, close.
Yeah,
fight.
but I'm gonna tell you something. You got me when you did something for me that you didn't know you did. I went through the worst bout of depression I ever. When you got me, I was depressed. Nobody knew it. I hit it. So when we lost to Peden that first time, I was still depressed. I was still reeling from the Casamayor fight. And even though I was blacking out trying to make weight, I never told you about it. That's why I told you about my hand.
Yeah.
The reason I told you about my hand, that fight with Matt Zegan, was because I didn't tell you what was going on with me in the Peden fight. Right. The guy showed me the video some years back. I can't find the video. I blacked out on Ben Dunn's shoulder one day in camp. Nobody saw it. The camera caught it, but nobody saw it.
Okay.
You had when I lost that first fight to Casamayor, that fight took more from me than people knew. Because I didn't feel like there was fair play anymore. I felt like that they took away. I thought it would be. I wanted fairness, but what I learned that night was there ain't no fairness.
Nope.
Ain't no fairness. And I tell my kids that, and they're like, "Oh man, Coach is just so hard, man. He's so rough, man. He's hard." I'm like, "Dude, this game is rough. This game is ain't no fairness, brother.
Yeah.
Ain't no fair. There is no fairness.
Yeah.
There is no fairness. There's no honor among thieves. These just thieves."
Yeah. So when you lost to Casamayor, who the very first opponent you fought after that?
Tiger Martinez.
Oh, okay.
And he fought me to a draw.
Yeah, so they didn't bring you back. Just give you. They put you right back in the line.
No, but I was okay with that. That's the only. I was okay with that, but that fight taught me something about family.
Okay.
You know how my biological mom is.
Yeah.
My foster mother, Shirley Hayes, was very soothing, but my biological mother, she made it so hard for me. She had gotten hooked on prescription drugs, and she was trying to get money to keep her high. She was making my life hard. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't turn my phone off because I got these three little girls that if anything go wrong, they gotta call me. So Mama, she robbed me the last week, man. I couldn't even sleep. So when I fought to that draw with Tiger Martinez, that was a further descent for me. So over the next, and people wonder why I love you so much. I said because Coach never left me. I probably would have gave up on me, not because I didn't tell nobody what I was going through. I just went through it. Because where I come from, you don't tell nobody what you're going through. You just deal with it.
Right.
You deal with your stuff. And it took me going through from the Casamayor fight up into the Kid Diamond fight. That was the darkest point in my life. That was the darkest point. From Casamayor to Kid Diamond, the darkest time in my life. And no matter what I went through, no matter how bad it got, there was one bright light in that whole thing. That was John David Jackson. And I tell people that it was you. It was dude. We would sit around the table and eat dinner every night at home like a family. I needed that. At that time, I needed that. When I lost the Peden, I never forget you. You looked me in the face and you said, "I won't leave." You said, "I won't leave."
As long as you believe in yourself, I said, "I'm with you."
Yeah,
I just want you to
I'm
make
with
sure
you.
you believe. Yeah.
When we went over the I was struggling to make weight. We went over to Australia, and you tried to choke the referee out. I told Bill, I said, go get John. go get John. I ain't got no coach no more. But I tell folks, I said, dude, let me tell y'all something. When I lost the Peden the first 2 times, and then I turned around and lost to Francisco Olivas. That boy I lost in Tampa. Okay. And you look me in the face and you ask somebody around me, how did this brother make 131 pounds? How did he make 131? He can't make that. I couldn't.
If you moved up 5 pounds, I figured, man, if you moved up 5 pounds, you'd be a monster. I said, man, you killing
yourself. And I was. Right. And here's the crazy part about it. You told me that on a Friday night. You remember I was dating the little cute little girl that dancing down there.
Yeah.
And we went to Outback Steakhouse the next day. I said, I'm gonna eat me some lobster. I ate what I wanted. Lobsters. I went. The lobster tastes like they had put salt all in the food. They had. I was so depleted of nutrients. The fresh lobster with nothing on it tastes like salt, like raw salt.
Yeah.
I drove home to Jacksonville that Monday, and I was still totally dehydrated. I had been dehydrated since Thursday night.
Yeah.
They put me on 3 IV drips in the hospital that day. They thought my kidneys were shutting down. They said, yeah. So from that moment on, I never went back down that way. I never went that way again. And first fight I had was Kid Diamond, and I was training with a guy named Lenny Perez, and I never forget calling you. I called you. I said, Coach, I'm fighting. I got this fight on short notice fight on the Roy Jones Tarver card. Yeah. I never forget you. Let's go back a little bit. And there's a gym called Westminster Boxing out in Santa Ana. I think Westminster,
yeah. That's what I'm at right
in
now.
Westminster.
Southern California.
Really? Boy. Okay. And I ran every day in Santa Ana at a place called Miles Square Park. I drove by that when I went back out to visit. I drove out there, drove to the park.
Yeah.
And I got on that back. I said, this what John left me at out here, y'all. Dude, so I said, hey, I'm gonna tell y'all this quick one.
Tell the story, bro.
so John David runs faster than me. I ran about a 6 minute between 6:05, 6:30, 6:20, 28 is the slowest I ran a mile. The fastest I would run would be about 6 flat I can run a 6 flat mile, but then it'll be everything after that be 6:05, 6:12. It wouldn't be nothing. My fastest constant mile was 6:05. That's what it was. John runs a 5 minute, 5 second mile, guys. Let's get this understood. At the time, that's what he ran. And I think he could do a 4 minute, 59 second mile if he pushed this. John ran. So me and John are running. And we park on the park is it's called Mile Square. 1 mile by 1 mile by 1 mile by 1 mile. I'm running 6 of these. So we park at the edge of the park at the first mile and we take off running. So we done ran 1 mile and we turn the corner, we go down to the second mile on make that right. We're about a quarter of the way into the 3rd mile. Yeah, the 3rd mile. I hear some feet behind us, and a little Asian guy's running behind us. You can tell he run marathons. I tell John, I said, Coach, let's let him go past. John Davis said, he can't run past. He can't go past me. I said, Coach, I got 3 more of these to take, 3.5 more of these to do. I don't really have time to be trying to race nobody. John said, now mind y'all, I want y'all to look. Y'all see John hair, right? Y'all see, he had his hair braided back. So John had a head full of hair, and it was all braided back. Cat kept it braided back for him. So John looked at me and said, "He can't run past me," and he getting belligerent at this point. I said, "John, now I'm finna put over." John looked at me. If y'all go look at, do me a favor, guys. Go look at Lord of the Rings. Right when they're fighting the Balrog, they're going through the cave, and Gandalf tells them to run, and he tells the Balrog, "You shall not pass." John David looked at me, has all over the head. John said, "He can't run past me." I said, "Man, I ain't playing with you, man." I step over in the grass. I'm on the inside, John on the outside. I step over in the grass, and John take off. John take off. John first steps are so much faster than what they had been. I say, shit. And the other guy, about 10 or 15 paces after, he come running past me. I see, how you doing? He shake his head at me, height. You know what I'm saying? It went on by. I see John stretching out. I see the Asian guy behind him. Not close, but close enough to make sure John got a point in his mind. He can't run past me. So as I turn the corner and I look, because I keep him in sight for a ways. As I turn the corner on the 4th mile, I can't even see the back of John's shirt. John is a little B down the road. I can see the other guy, but John is gone. I come around the corner. John, I'm from the car, shadow boxing. I say, did he pass you? Hell no, he ain't passed me. Tell you he wasn't gonna pass me. So I got to run another mile, which is 5. Then I got to make a right and go down to the end of the block, and that's 6. That's my 6 miles. So when John come down and pick me up in the car, John had wiped all off, give me my towel, I'm drying all off. We was driving the Acura Legend in, the big body Legend in. Man, I was so tired. John said, "I told you you weren't gonna pass me." Hit how John, he take the wipe the sweat off his arm and throw it out the window. And wiping his hands on the towel. I said, I looked at him, I thought to myself, I said, this guy's sick. This guy's sick.
Hey.
He ain't passing.
Had to do it. You couldn't pass me, man.
Hey, he said, "Come pass me." He said, no. I told somebody that story one day on stage and stand up. They said, "You lying." So I ain't lying. I said, John turned into Gandalf the Grey. "You shall not pass." I said, "Man, got time to be fooling around with you." I said, "I'm not running a marathon. I'm trying to get my workout in." But JD act like he was outgunned in camp. He was never outgunned, guys. John was the smartest fighter we was ever in the ring with. Alan Green said, Randall Bailey said, everybody, Joe Green. Me and Joe Green were talking one day. Joe Green hit John and John went down. Baby, when I tell y'all, he went down in the corner right in front of me, Alan, and Randall. I said, "You okay, coach?" John said, I never get John got up. John said, I'm good. Pat his gloves together. John didn't lose another second of another round. John didn't lose another second of another round. Joe Green was out there fighting for his life for the next 5 rounds. And Alan Green, I never get Alan Green around here gonna look at me tomorrow. Now at this point, as far as they concerned, I'm big bro because I'm the oldest one in camp. And the only one older than me is John David. John David's about make him stop. I looked in my head, I turned into Don King. How you gonna tell God he can't fight no more? They bust out laughing. We laugh about that to this day. Me and Randall talk about it. Make John stop. I said, "Man, you can't make that man stop." I said, "Man, don't play that game." I said, he walked into a shot. He ain't gonna walk into another one. I guarantee you that.
Thank you for that story. So let's fast forward. So now, when you finally got your title shot, how did you feel about? I mean, you finally got. I mean, how did you feel about that? You finally got your title shot that you deserved.
Well,
how did you feel going into that fight?
You know what, Rob? I'm gonna tell you a secret. I came to camp early, and I always lived with John. For the title fight, we always lived with Storm and Norman Wilson. But this particular fight, John had his own. No, yeah, we were staying with Norman
No.
for every other fight. No, by the time we were staying up. We were staying in the first house before you moved to this house.
Right.
Nice house, and the gray house with the gray and white brick house. And I had to run down to 27 and run back, and he would run with me. And I ran at night, so that would be our ritual. My thing was me and John ran together. That was our ritual. That was a part of my ritual. I lived in the house with John, so everything I did was structured around family for me. I never got a hotel. I never stayed in a hotel. I always stayed with John. And I came in late January, mid-January.
Yeah.
I came in mid-January. And after the first 2 weeks, I was so sharp. John, like, you getting real sharp real fast. My weight was good. Everything was good. And I looked at JD in the face, and I told JD, I said, JD, I want to go home. I never do this. I never go home. I said, I want to go home because I kind of want to see my pastor. I have been having dreams about it. Yeah. He said, yeah, man, you can go. So it was a Friday. I trained at 10 in the morning. So I was driving. I drove a Ford Expedition 02. So he said you can go. So I finished the gym. I didn't go take clothes back to the house or nothing. I just got on the road and just drove back to Jacksonville. So I got back to Jacksonville. It was late Friday evening. He wasn't worried about me doing nothing stupid because I was far enough out in camp. That Sunday I went to church because I was the only way I could see Pastor. I went to church. I saw my family on Thursday, and I went to see Pastor on Sunday. Pastor wasn't preaching. My former father-in-law, Amos McPhee, Elder McPhee, was preaching. And I leaned over and I tapped Margaret Roberts on the shoulder. I said, "Where's my pastor?" She said, "Nate, he's been real sick. And we didn't want to tell you because we knew you was training for this fight. It's a very important fight for you." Everybody kept up with my fights. I said, "Where is he?" They say he's over at Baptist Hospital. And then here's how I knew it was serious. They say the Nurses Guild has been over there with him. The Nurses Guild, where all the women come together, a Nurses Guild, and they pray. And they pray for change. That's their job. Their job is to tarry before God for a change to come. So I knew it was serious. So I finished with church and I hugged everybody. I kissed everybody and I told everybody to thank them for all the support they were giving me. Everybody was they called me up for prayer, everything. And I went to the hospital. And when I went to the hospital, I walked into his room. The Nurses Guild was sitting around the bed. And I looked at him. He looked at me. He smiled. They said it was the only time he ever smiled when I came in the room. And he came in the room. And we talked. And he said, we were talking. And we were having a conversation. And he told me, he said, I'm looking for you, God, to do big things. God gonna use you to do other things. He said, He gonna use you in a bigger way than He's ever used you before. He said, but I need you to go finish what you started. You started this thing to become world champion. Go finish what you started. I said, and I was his minister of music at one time also. And he said, I said, I said, when I get back, I'm gonna come to church and I'm gonna give you any A and B selection you want, 2 songs you want, any 2 you want. He would always try to start singing real bad to make me sing the song. I'm like, I'm not doing that in the church. Though the storm keep on red. I said, not happening. Not happening, coach. Not happening, pastor. I said, because I was taught when I was coming up as a minister that you don't become unseemingly in a hospital. I said, the man that taught me that was outstanding teacher as well as pastor, outstanding man and a father. And he looked at me and said, who was that? I said, his name was Willie Frank Robinson. He was a good man. I said, he is a good man. He's a great pastor. He smiled. So we laughed and we hung out for a while. And I took my then fiance home. And I got on 295 to go to 95. As I was coming around the last curve, getting on 95, I pulled my truck over. I never said anything. I pulled my truck over out off the road, and I cried till I lost my voice because I knew I would never see him again. There was something about the way that we talked that it was final. It was final. And I knew it was final. And I cried. And I didn't just cry. I cried till I lost my voice. I got back on the road. I drove on back. And from the day that I got back to camp, my focus was different. There was a different focus in me. And I don't know if a lot of people saw that. I was meaner. I was nastier. There was something in me that was, I had to do this. I had to do this. And John David was pushing me, and everybody, my team was pushing me. Everybody was pushing me. And there was a part of me that was as violent as I was more violent than I ever been in my life in that camp. I was as nasty than I ever had been in the camp. We got to Cancun. We got to Cancun, and the 5th of March came around, and I had my first dream about Pastor. It was a vivid dream, but in the dream there was a waterfall. There was no sound, but there was a vivid dream, and I kept talking to Pastor. He kept talking to me, and it was Pastor. It was him. It was him. I never forget him. He said, you know, son, that if you're gonna do this, it's gonna take everything you are. He was talking to me about the parts of me, the things it was gonna take for me to get where I was going. And my alarm went off the next morning. I got up. It was the 6th. It was the 6th. Yeah, it was the 6th. So the next, I dreamt about him again, the night of the 6th and the 7th. And it was the weigh-in day, my 36th birthday. I went over to the gym and I watched John run 5 5-second miles. I never forget that as long as I live. He ran 5 miles in 25-25. I never forget that. Me and my cousin Merk watched it. I came over and checked my weight. I was 134.5 pounds. I was right where I needed to be. And that was the 8th, the 7th. On the 8th, between the 7th and the 8th, the night of the fight, I had another dream, my 3rd dream. And I never told nobody about the dreams because I didn't want nobody to think I was off the loop. I was loopy. But John knew that Pastor had died. They had already told John, but I didn't know he had died. Nobody was telling me that. And but I was dreaming about him so vividly. And that on the night of the 7th, we made weight, stared down, did all the stuff we was gonna do. I went to sleep that night and I had a dream of Pastor again. This was the last dream I had of him. And in the dream, he began to tell me how there was that the peace that was going to be with me that night was going to be, it might be overbearing if he didn't warn me about it. Say, you're going to be at peace tonight. He said, you're going to be at peace tonight. You're going to have a performance that is for the ages. He said, God is going to bless your mind and your hands. He's going to bless your feet, your body. He began to, in the dream, he began to pray over me in the dream. And I said, at the end of the prayer, us talking, I said, Pastor, I sure wish you and my daddy could be here. He said, we'll be there. And I heard, it sounded like the water, big knocking, but heard the waterfall come in. And I heard they were knocking on my door for me to go to the morning weigh-in on the 8th. And I got up and I hung my feet off the edge of the bed. And I looked back. My girl, she was there, but I looked back and I thought to myself, Pastor gone. He ain't here no more. I got up. We went to our second weigh-in. I weighed in at 139. And John David commenced to cuss Ronnie Shields for everything but a child of God. Ronnie, he cussed Ronnie Shields for everything but a child of God. Ronnie Shields say, we're making statements about what if I spit my mouthpiece and this, that, and the other. John David said, he ain't gonna do that. John turned into a whole nut. So I told Merck I'm going back to eat. Make sure John don't go to jail in Mexico. So I left Merck with John as usual. And I go up into the dressing room that night. John got 2 fighters on the fight that night. A lot of folks don't know this. John had the feature fight of the night, which was Jamil McCline versus John Ruiz.
Yep.
And Jamil fought a bad fight that night. He fought a real bad fight that night. He just didn't fight Jamilish that night. He didn't. He fought like he was something else going on. And John David cuss Jamil McCline TF out. I didn't want to say the cuss word, the out. He called Jamil, he told Jamil McCline, you fought like a it tonight. He went off, man. I'm thinking to myself, that's an awful lot of man to be telling that to. John gave Jamil the business that night. He gave him a tongue lashing and looked him in the face and said, you know what? You don't want to fight. You want to see somebody want to fight? Put your clothes on and come watch this little nigga right here fight. Come on, Nate. You hit Mitch? I said, I hit Mitch already. I'm good. Jimmy warmed me up. Come on. He grabbed the Mitch. Pow, pow, pow. I'm sharp as a razor. So we go downstairs and we get downstairs and they make us stop and they do a whole thing on Juan Diaz. They make us watch it. John said, yeah, you see how they doing it? John like me and John think the same thing. They ain't put one of you on. So now we both feeling some kind of way about this. We get to the ring, and there's a picture of me and John in the ring. Both our mouths like this him. I can't see him. He can't see me. I'm in front of John. He behind me, and both our expressions on our face are the exact same. When the bell rang, a fight broke out. John Davis said the first time he backed up, the fight over. He backed up the first step in the first round. For me, the fight was over. For the rest of the fight was over. John said, if you watch the fight, John wasn't giving me no whole bunch of boxing instructions because he already gave me the game plan. John kept saying, keep talking to him. Keep talking to him. I don't care what you say to him. Keep talking to him. I said, you don't care what I say? You don't care what you say. I started talking about that boy mama so bad. I talked about his mama, Willie Savannah wife. I said, boy, we went at it. It was ugly. And John did every round. John did say, keep talking to him. Keep talking to him. But that was the fight. Our fight plan it wasn't just physical. It wasn't just physical warfare. It was mental. It was very mental with us, that fight. But I felt good about it. I felt like I was doing what I was told to do. We can't hear you, Robert.
We fought him. And
Hey,
we fought him. He was a fantastic puncher.
Real quick.
Right. He couldn't punch like I could. We knew that.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, because you got punch. I mean, you got punching with the punch that.
Right.
You know.
I did, but everything I threw was hard. I don't think I threw nothing that was. Everything I.
Yeah.
And you. Hey guys, I'm gonna tell y'all something. For that fight, only time John David ever lost his temper with me was in that training camp that I know of. I had just got a ring sparring or something, hit miss. John said, I want you to give me 2 rounds on this bag, and this bag. And I said, Coach, 2 of these bags the same. He looked back over his shoulder. If looks could kill, he'd have set me a fire. He'd have set me ablaze.
Wait, I want you to take a look at this and go down memory lane real quick.
All right. Oh yeah. It's me and John. Hey John, this is our first fight together, ain't it?
And then the kid, yeah.
This is our first fight together. Our very first fight together.
Nate Campbell's a great body puncher.
A lot of folks don't know this here. The last week of sparring before this fight, Samaniego hit me with a body shot. I thought he knocked my insides out. Remember that, John?
Yeah.
He hit me. I thought he spit me. I thought he hit me with a blade.
He's working a jab, and he's also.
I saw this referee last night, John. Yeah, I told him, I said, boy, you took a point from me for nothing.
Of the body.
You told me I can hit him on the belt. That's why I hit him. Ooh.
No answer.
Listen, man, I experienced that firsthand, and that's some rough stuff right
I
there.
think he's a little confused that Nate started.
Yeah, you're laughing, man.
Hey, let me tell you something. John David had like that. John David will tell you about how the first time he sparred, he was beating me up so bad. I looked around the room to make sure nobody was watching. Dude, we was in the gym
I wasn't
and
hard though. I was just throwing a lot of shots.
shit, he'll lie. It was hard to me. He was landing shots right on my nose, right in the, dude, he hit me in the eyeball twice. In the eyeball, hit me. John David, he was. I'm like, then he don't tell what y'all don't know is he come out one round right-handed, then he come out left-handed next time, and he better on the left hand in your mind, but he is just as proficient as a right-hand fighter. And you like, dude, there ain't no way to get no vibe or no rhythm of what he's doing because he giving it, dude. He would do. Dude, he was beating the sleeves off of me out there. We was in Coach Steve Bell's gym, world class boxing gym. He just finally closed that gym down. We was in world class boxing gym in Kingston, Georgia. And John David was beat. It was our first time ever getting a ring sparring. John was beating the blankety blank so and so out of me. Dude, I felt as though it was two of them. I'm telling you, I thought it was two of them. Dude, I think it was the third round. I finally got tired of him hitting me with all it. I just hauled off. I said, as soon as he get close, I'm gonna throw something at him. So he stepped in. He stepped in as a southpaw. I threw a double left hook. Wham! Hard as I could throw it. I had to get him off. Dude, he was beating the sleeves off of me, man. When John David had all them fighters in camp, John could have still been fighting. We all tried to get John to come out of retirement just one more time. We all did. But John David, I'm asking you a question. John say who the best time you told me it's two guys you saw me spar that you thought was some of the best sparring you ever saw. You said Randall Bailey and Shane Mosley.
Oh man.
The best sparring I ever saw in my entire life, anybody, was John David and Glenn Johnson. John David and Glenn Johnson went to WEC. Do y'all hear me? I'm telling y'all what it is. Dude, John David and Glenn Johnson went to work. And I'm talking about this should have been on HBO. I said they was grossly underpaid that day. That was the best sparring I ever saw in my life.
Yeah.
But you know what? You want to know? I'm gonna say this here, and I don't care how you like to say. I'm gonna say it anyway. You want to know the most? You want to know who I saw take Tony Tarver apart better than anybody else that ever saw spar him? That man right there. He fought him as a right hander, hit Tarver with a right hand over the top, and bobbled Tarver. John David Jackson had something left when he first started training us. When he first started training, he had something left, and I tell anybody that he had something left. He could have fought. He could have fought maybe five good solid fights, got him a title shot, and went home.
Yeah, but it's hard
and went home.
And guys wouldn't fight.
Yeah, they wouldn't fight you.
They wouldn't fight me. So.
I feel like John. I feel like John David. Our careers mirrored so well because both of us, neither one of us could get the fights we wanted. We got the fights that they were gonna give us, the mandatories. But John, you defended. You never had a optional fight your whole career. Yeah. Every fight you ever fought was a mandatory. You fought 6 mandatories at 154.
Yeah,
I did the research just so y'all know that. It's easy for guys to talk, but I did
that. So let me. Yeah, I appreciate that. So. Let's just jump fast forward. So, who in your career, who's the one fighter you wish you had a chance to fight? They never fought you.
Pacquiao.
You got a couple?
Huh?
No. Who was one person you wish you could fight? They never either you get the chance to fight or wouldn't fight you. You know.
Pacquiao. It was multiple. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and Marquez. Those three, and Casamayor, the rematch with Casamayor, because he was my mentor, remember?
Right.
Marquez was my mentor for the BA. Pacquiao had the WBA, the WBC belt, and Don tried to make that fight. I never forget Don calling. Don got on the phone. I had just won the title. I was coming to training camp. No, I was coming down to see you in training camp. I had no time. I just figured I'd come down. So I drove down and had a meet. I came over to camp. It was right before we started for the Guzman fight, which was supposed to be the Casamayor fight, remember?
Yeah.
The Guzman fight was supposed to be Casamayor, but Casamayor fought Marquez. My two mentors fought each other. And Guzman was elevated to the number one position, and that was the guy. That fight hurt financially. But Mayweather, the first Mayweather time I was offered a fight with Mayweather was when I came to 130. He was still 130, and they offered. He said they offered him slave wages. It was 1.6 million they offered him, and they offered me 1.2 million. And they would, when he wouldn't take the fight, I went back and told Jimmy he could take my point too. I just wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I just really wanted to fight Mayweather. And the next time we lost the fight with Mayweather was when I signed when he fought Marquez. That fight was offered to me first. That was the fight that was offered to me first. But Don King called Bob Arum. I never forget it. We were sitting in the office. I went to Don, said, Don, I want the Pacquiao fight. Please get me that fight. I said, it'd be the first 4-belt title of all time.
Yeah.
Don said, you really want that fight? Can you want the fight? I make the fight work if you want it. I said, yeah, I want the fight. He got on the phone and called Bob Arum. Hey, how you doing? It's Don. Can I speak to Bob? And he had him on speakerphone. I never forget it. He had Bob on speakerphone. Hi, Don. How you doing? He said, well, I got Nate Campbell over here. We got the 3 belts. And Pacquiao. He don't say Pacquiao. I said Pacquiao. Pacquiao he got the 1 belt over there. And we ought to go and do this thing and make extravaganza of it. And Bob Arum said, well, Don, Manny's going to be the draw. And most we can offer Nate is $5 million. I looked Don. I said, I told Don, I said, you can take 3 to 5. I said, you can take 2 or 3, and you can take 2 million. I take the 3. You take 2 million, I take the 3, Don. Do what you got to do. Don said, all right, if that's what you want now, I'm gonna try to make this fight for you now. Don't tell me to make this fight and you go out there, you little egg, you shit me. I said, don't do that, man. I said, don't do that. I said, but it's gonna be more than 37,500 for training camp. I said, so just know now, it's gonna be at least 100 grand for training camp. At least 100 grand for training camp. We were really talking like that about this. And I got up, and me and Merck went and got in the car, drove down and saw you at the gym. We hung out. We went, as a matter of fact, me, you, Cat, always went out. We went and ate that night. I took y'all out for dinner that night. And I stayed at the house, and I drove home the next day. Merck stayed in your office. I stayed in upstairs in the room. No, Merck stayed downstairs in yeah. And we got up and left and went home. And the same day before I left, a guy that was an intern over at Top Rank, he said, you're never gonna get this. You're never gonna get the Pacquiao fight, Nate. I said, how you know about the Pacquiao fight? He said, because I work in the office. And he said out of his mouth, Bob don't even run the company. He said his son-in-law runs the company. And this is true. He said his son-in-law said, we're not taking that fight. Nate Campbell will drop back on his right foot and throw a right hand and fuck up all of the money we got lined up for him. So he went from, y'all know what he did. He left 135. He fought 1 time at 35. He went and fought Ricky Hatton. Then he fought De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Go look at him. But those are the fights that I wanted. And just people don't know that. I wanted those fights. A lot of folk don't get it. I wanted those fights because, I'm going to be honest, I knew how much money John was going to make. A lot of guys get to making $3, $4, and $5 million, and they don't want to pay their trainer the 10%. Me and John had a pact. If we made if I made $100 million, how much money you were gonna get, John?
10 million.
$10 million. We had a pact. We had a pact between us. If John David Jackson, if I told dude say, so you telling me if you made $1 billion, you gonna get John $100 million. $100 million. So a lot of guys didn't understand that, but they'll understand that I put my knees on the John table. I remember when John, and I say this with love. John got a big old beautiful house now. House so big, it echoes if you holler in it. And not because it ain't got no furniture, but because it's that big. It's a big house now. You got a pool in the backyard. But when me and John first started training, John didn't have that. JD didn't have that. But what he had, he would share with me. Yeah, he had a two-bedroom apartment, and he had 3 boys on one side and his daughter on the other with a petition they put in to make a makeshift bedroom for her. Somebody once told me, anytime a man will share what he has with you out of his lack, that man he's honorable. And from that moment to this day, if John is, just so y'all know, world, that's why when you can't say nothing about John David around me and not expect no fight to come with that, because the fight gonna come with that. You told the man that would, dude, we didn't have much, but we ate and we ate. We didn't eat the best food, but we ate. We didn't have the best of this, but dude. John David is the realest dude of all. All I'm talking all that stuff, but JD he loaned from his lack. He gave from his lack. He blessed and loved from his lack. And that's the mark of a true good human being. And I'm gonna show you how much John David. No, I'm an old fashioned guy. John David had to go away to training camp to work with the guys up in Central California, San Luis Obispo. I said, Coach, I don't feel good about staying here with your wife and your kids and you not here. John David looked me in the face and said, I trust you. I trust you. He said, I need you to protect my wife and my kids while I ain't here. He said, I need for you to make sure they're good. I need for you to go to the gym every day. I need you to run every day. I need you to train every day. He gave me a list of things he wanted me to do. And when he told me I trust you, I said, yes, sir, I'll be right here. I slept on that sofa and I made sure that nobody bothered them. The kids ain't getting nothing. I went to the gym every day. I didn't miss a day in the gym. When I came up to camp to San Luis Obispo, I showed up in shape. And that's the fight y'all just saw. Y'all saw that fight. That fight was a kid that was that fight, the Tiger Martinez fight. That fight. I was going to the body. For somebody to trust you, believe in you, have faith in you, and stick with you, even when probably they shouldn't leave you, that's big. John David. So when guys ask me who I think is the best trainer in the world, I always say John David Jackson. They say, oh man, you can't believe it. I say, man, ask you a question. Tell me one guy that has had more consistent champions over the last, from 2008 up until now. Who has had the most unified, undisputed champions in boxing? Consecutive guys. Let's talk. I ask that question all the time. See, John David know the answer to this, but nobody else know the answer to this. Okay. Consistently, I was a unified champion. We took Randall Bailey, and then he had all underdogs. Let's talk about the fact he had most of the underdogs.
Yeah.
He had me, Randall Bailey, back to back. Then he had the 2 boys. You had Bartholomew. Yeah. Then you took the guy he fought to the title. So you had those. Then you had Kovalev. Kovalev was undisputed. You had
Habib.
Money. What 15 since 2008? You had 15, 16 champions.
Man, and you done had. I done trained some of the greatest of my era. Holyfield.
Right. Right. Bernard, exactly. But let's.
Mosley.
Bernard. I ain't call Bernard. Bernard. Shane.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna talk about the fact that you had your first champion was unified. They said I was the undisputed WBA champion, but the unified overall champion. Then you had Kovalev undisputed, Carissa undisputed in multiple weights.
Yeah.
You've had what 3 or 4 undisputed champions,
right?
Or unified and undisputed champions. So when they talk about accolades and this, that, and other, I said, dude, let me tell y'all something. John David took the guy that wasn't supposed to win to the title every time. Yeah. Other than Carissa, Everybody else came in with a understanding they were gonna be in a fist fight. Carissa was automatically considered to be the best female boxer out there.
Because Tarver was on paper was supposed to be Bernard on paper.
Yes, he was. He was supposed to beat him. And you, hey, and you actually told Bernard the way to fight Tarver was that you made him watch me fight and told him to fight that way.
Yeah.
Dude, I told you, me and Jeff Mayweather was having a conversation one day, and he asked me about that. And I said, John David Jackson, the best trainer in boxing, had more world title, more champions since '08 than anybody. I said, y'all talk about it. I said, y'all ain't got to like. I said, he is bar none the best trainer. Second, I said, he is. If they said Michael Nunn is second to none, John David is second to none. I said, now, and John David, the only one of them that's got a commercial. John David, the only one got a commercial. Tell him, John. Tell him about your commercial.
Brother, listen, I don't forget about the commercial.
No, I got a commercial. I did a commercial for John David Jackson. John David Jackson, best fucking trainer in the world.
Yeah. I believe that one alone. I like that one, but I'm gonna leave that one alone. That was good. So,
Hey.
So let me ask you a question. So after you won the title, and then after they stripped you of the title for not making the weight, you didn't lose the fight to anybody. To me, that opened the door for other people not to fight you, period. Because a lot of guys would fight. I mean, listen, they wouldn't fight you before you become champion. But after your title was vacated, nobody wanted to fight you.
Well, I fought Tim Bradley.
How hard was that for you?
It was hard because, Coach, you know me, I'm old fashioned. I take care of. A lot of people don't know this, and I'm gonna put this out for the first time. My mother, a lot of folks know that my mother, my biological mother, she passed away as a result of the AIDS virus.
Right.
HIV/AIDS virus. That was what she had. She was an intravenous drug user, and she died in her later years. She fought it for many years. I was paying for my mother's medication out of my pocket. And my foster mother, who thought John David was the most gorgeous man in the world. Oh, girl, so David, you got to see Nate Daniels trainer. Jesus, and them shorts, Lord. I said, Mama, please leave him alone. Please leave him alone. John David felt like he was being ogled. But she also had a hefty medication for her galls. She had a medication that she got, and these are two women that really did so much for me. So I was spending sometimes $15,000 a month to take care of my family, and I had to fight. So for me, it didn't matter about who it was. I needed the influx of cash all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, it was never about. I didn't care about fame. Y'all keep the fame. I was like Tupac. All I want is money. F the fame. I'm a simple man. I just got to take care of mama. I had to take care of my mamas, and that was the biggest thing for me. I never wanted to run out of money,
right? Because
I was doing so much to take care of all the women, all the people around me that had taken care of me. And when I couldn't get those fights, that meant that my checks were smaller. That's what it meant to me. That's what it meant to me. So that's why I always, if you notice, I would never let them off the hook. If they came to me with $500,000, I would try to get it up a little bit. But I wouldn't try to get it up so much where I lose the fight, because I knew I needed that money to take care of the people around me. And you got people that say, well, you don't. And I always had to think about my negotiation tactic, because I had to make sure that John David made as much as possible. That was I thought that way. I knew that the people around me needed me to make the most money that I could make for us to have the best life that we could have. And I know that a lot of fighters don't think like that. But as a fighter that came from nothing, and the people around me loved me and cared for me, I had to love them and care for them. That's why I trained so hard. I trained hard like that because I knew that my money took care of so many other households. So for me, it was always about that for me. Every time John got a new house, that meant that I was doing good. I don't care what y'all say. Every time John got a new house or a new car, I'm like, shit, we doing it. When I came back after I won the world title, and I walked in the house, it was pictures of me all over the house. I'm like, I said, damn, Mom home. I felt more home in John Davis' house than I did in my house. It was more pictures of me in John Davis' house than it was in my house. And that's crazy. And for me, the greatest part of being a fighter for me was never winning the title. It was the ability to be able to make a way for so many of the people that I wanted to make a way for. That's what it was. People don't realize something. My little cousin had just come home from attempted murder. He had just came home from doing 11 and a half years for that. And my cousin was climbing trees, cutting trees down and odd jobs like that. And I was able to employ my little cousin and get him out of that and get him in a better place. I was able to, to bless my family members and help family members to get cars and help them get in houses and stuff like that. That was important to me. It wasn't just about me making it. It was about my family, the people I call family. I got married May 17th, 2008. John Davis' birthday is May 17th, 2008. That's his birthday. Birthday fell on the same day. And somebody asked me, why would I get a big old cake with John David Jackson's picture on it and make it a part of my day when it was just my wedding day? I said, dude, you don't understand how important this man is to me. I said, dude, he did for me what everybody else said I couldn't do. They said I would never be champion. John Davis said, fuck them, you will. And I did, because he believed in me. Jimmy Waldron believed in me. Bill Gonzalez. Man, I had a team of guys that believed in me. And John David, I can tell you that being champion was great. It was great being champion. I feel it. I have more fun with being champion, having been champion, than I had being champion, because I was chasing so much. I was still hunting as champion. I was a champion that was hunting. But when I walk into a room now, people, like I was at the Hall of Fame this weekend, people coming up to me, Nate Campbell, blah, blah, blah. I was getting on a plane and the guy was going up to Newark and he said, are you Nate Campbell? He said, then he looked at my shirt, like he said, yeah, you Nate. I said, yeah. He said, man, I grew up watching you fight. That's big to me now. Yeah. That's bigger than what being champion was. When I talk about guys, when I talk about what it was like, I always talk about what my training camps was like. I thought I had the greatest training camps in the history of the world. I had a group of guys around me that loved me and that protected me and that would do anything for me. And we believed in each other. We believed in our coach. We believed in our team. That's why whenever you see us, we say we contenders for life. And we are contenders for life, period. We believed in each other. We will make sacrifices for one another. And that's important. That you have a group of guys that are part of your life that will make sacrifices for you. And John David was there. He was the captain. He was the general. Whatever John David said went. There was never time. Like I said, the only time John ever looked back over his shoulder and gave me the business was when I asked him about. He said hit two rounds on that bag, and that bag. I said 2 of these bags the same, coach. John looked back over his. John looked back over his shoulder. John looked back over his shoulder, and I was hitting the bag. I said this bag first, right? But when he told me, when I got on the bag and I got to that other bag, it was softer, it moved different, it flowed different. It was true, even though it was the same bag, it was not the same bag. And John understood that. It was a change of everything. It made me change everything. And John came and leaned over my shoulder and said, I want this for you more than you do. He said, I need for you to know what it feels like to be the best in the world. He said, when he said that coupled with what my pastor told me, that was another log on the fire for me. It's just something. It was for me, man. I had the best trainer in the world. I've had the best trainer in the world, And I don't knock Buddy McGirt. I've had the best trainers in the world because Buddy taught me how to think. John taught me how to be. Frankie Minnis taught me how to box. Doc Williams taught me how to fight. And Chico Williams taught me how to drag you through the mud. He taught me how to mug you. And every one of those components taught me something different. And John just taught me John took everything I was and taught me how to be. He taught me, he didn't change me. He didn't change me. He said, I never forget it. Everybody told me all the stuff that they wanted to fix and change. John said, no, you can fight already. He said, I'm just gonna add some stuff to you. And that's what he did. He gave me a lead left uppercut. I never forget it. We was in Westminster boxing. So John said, okay, we'll throw the double left uppercut. So I'm like, pow, pow. I said, coach, but I don't like throwing that shot because if you throw that shot, what happens is I think you get hit. He said, okay, cool. Get him again. Pow, pow. And I said, okay, cool, but I just told you I don't like throwing this shot. After about 3 or 4 times, I realized John didn't give a damn what I was talking about. So he said, okay. This is how he talk. And he's like, okay. Do me a favor. Give me 2 of them with 2 left hook. Pow, 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 pow. All right, cool. Now I want you to dip off to the side and come back and double up uppercut. Pow, 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 pow. Okay, now dip that way next time. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a whole relationship with somebody who ain't hearing nothing I got to say. He ain't listening. We are not communicating at all well, because communication means you listen to me, I listen to you, and John ain't had none of that. I was talking. And I say that to say this. If y'all want to see how I became world champion, go back and watch the fight. I threw a hybrid uppercut, lead left uppercut, bing, and cut Juan Diaz wide open. If John David Jackson don't make me change what I was doing, I don't throw that shot. So yeah, he's the mastermind, the genius, the mastermind, the genius, the best trainer in the world. Right there, y'all sit looking at it.
Well, you know what? It's great. I appreciate that. Here's what people don't realize, and I tell them when we go to the gym. See, I don't make you do anything your way. I just keep making you do the same thing over and over. Then guess what? After a while, it becomes second nature to you. Either that. You say, I'm gonna shut this nigga up, man. He talking too much about the same thing. But hey, I tell people,
John is great with that.
Alan Green, Randall Bay, all the guys I had, you know, to fight. Yeah, my job was to make you a better fighter than what you were. So if I saw a thing that I thought you needed.
We had everybody not camp. Everybody not camp could bump. I told somebody that's the best trainer. That's the best training camp I ever had. That's the best stable. That was the best stable in boxing. Who was a better stable? Who had the better stable? Nobody stable was. Dude, we had knockout artist of the year. We had a knockout king. I would fight, kick, scratch, bite. We all was on Facebook one day talking. And a dude asked me a question. He said, if you had to have somebody fight of all the guys that was fighters with you in your camp, who would you have box for your life? I said, Alan Green. Alan Green boxed my life. Couldn't nobody outbox Alan Green when he was on his stick. Yeah. He said, what about who'd you get the punch for your life? I said, Randall Bailey. No question. He said, what about a guy that you have set traps? I said, Charles Whitaker. I said, Charles was slow as Christmas, but he set the best traps. And the deal was all on Facebook. The guy said, and Charles Whitaker said, oh man, thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. And the guy said, Charles, if you had to have somebody fight for your life, who would it be? He said, without a doubt, he said, Nate Campbell, because he's going to find a way to win. He said, he's going to kick, scratch, claw, bite. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. He said, and the thing about it is, he meant it. He said, he meant it. He meant it.
I'm trying to cut you out here. Now that you bring that up, I want to ask you a question. This is for the fans. This is for the fans. Tell me about the story. Tell them the story of when you bit the cat's tail. Tell this story.
Oh, grandmama. Oh, my grandmama Lily Mae somewhere right now. She is rolling in her grave right now. Okay. I was 5. I was 5 years old, getting ready to turn 6. And my grandmother, we lived in the old colonial style big houses down, Turner Central houses down in Jacksonville, in an area called La Villa. And we lived on Beaver Street then. And we had a big porch downstairs, But these houses also had a very big, long porch upstairs. Yes, you had two porches, upstairs and downstairs. So grandma would say, Red, that's what they call me, Red. My daddy called me Boo Boo. Grandma called me Red. She said, Red. I said, ma'am. She said, I said, grandmama. I said, why that cat? Why I ain't never seen a cat fall down? I said, because a cat always land on his feet. I said, always? She said, always land on his feet. That was it. Now I got to make her a liar. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna make her a liar. So I take the cat, I grab this cat, and I sling it off the front porch downstairs. And I throw him high too, high as I can throw him. Cat and land on his feet. Okay, all right. I'm all right. Okay, maybe downstairs. Let's see about if you take him upstairs. So I catch the I catch the cat. I catch the cat and I go upstairs. I go through the house, up the 17 steps, turn the corner for 5 more steps, walk through the house to the front porch. My daddy ain't there, and I go through our bedroom, step out through the door onto the front porch. And the cat trying to get away. And I think this cat done figured out I think the cat in his mind saying this little nigga ain't shit. He ain't shit. And I know where he going with this, and I don't want no parts of it. So I got the cat like to him. I got the cat by the back. I take the cat and I wind him up. And all I'm doing is scaring the cat.
Yeah.
I go to wind that cat up again. That cat come through and reach out and grab my shirt. As it grabbed my shirt, it turns. The cat gets loose and turns and scratch me here and scratch me across in the back. As the cat coming by trying to run, I said, ah! And the cat tail come through my mouth and I bite down. Cat tail came clean off, y'all. I bit that cat tail clean off. And that cat let out a yell. That cat let out the loudest howl. And my grandmama runs to her window and pulls her curtain open. And her window's up. So we have the screen. There's no screen on the porch, but her window's up. She said, "You bad fucker." And I turn around with a cat tail hanging out my mouth like this. I said, I take the cat tail. I said, she said, "Is that that cat's tail?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Motherfucker." She said, "Come here." And she finna beat me. I'm standing in the doorway. I know I'm finna get a beat. I got this cat tail in my hand. I'm trembling. I'm shaking. I know I did wrong. Daddy come through and stop grandmama as she coming through. She say, "Junior," so she called my daddy. "This little mother bit this cat's tail off." Daddy said, "He bit the cat tail off." "Come here, booby." I said, "Yes, sir." I got the cat tail in my hand. I got a trickle of blood on the side of my face right here where the cat. I got a scratch on my neck right here. I got a scratch on my back. Daddy say, "Why is you fucking with that cat out there?" I said, "Daddy, the cat." I said, I didn't blame grandmama, but I blame grandmama. I said, "Grandmama told me that a cat always land on his feet." He said, "What that mean?" I said, "Well, I took him off the front porch and threw him and he landed on his feet. I figured if I threw him from up here, I could see if it really works. If it really worked." My dad looked at me and wiped his hand over his face like this. He said, "Look here, booby. Don't you put your hands on these fucking cats no more. Don't you touch nothing. Don't you touch the cats, the dog. If there's a rat in there, don't you touch him." He said, "Don't you step on a roach." He said, "If there's a roach in the house, you come get me and I kill him." He said, "Don't you touch nothing." He said, "I don't want, if a mosquito's biting you, let him bite you." He said, "Don't you touch nothing else." I said, "Yes, sir." Grandma wanted to beat me so bad. As I was going by, she took her hand and hit me in the middle of my back. I said, "That cat ain't never come around no more." When next time we saw that cat had a little stomp tail. That cat had never come around. And so my cousin Dooley, for the rest of my life, called me called me a tail biter. Old tail biter. Oh, there you go, y'all here, tail biter. And if we ever together as adults right now, Right now, he'll look at me and say, "Oh, tail biter, shut up."
Yeah. No. Well, see,
Yeah,
listen.
but
I wanted you to tell that story to the people because if I told it, they would thought I was crazy. But
I,
hearing,
I
hearing
bet
it
that
from
cat.
you,
I
they know
bet
it's
that
true.
cat. Well, they talk. Well, Dooley actually, we were together when I was getting ready to fight Daniel Alicea, and he tells the guy that's interviewing me about it, and the guy makes the name of my only centerpiece article in Ring Magazine is "Never bet against a man that will bite a cat's tail off." That is the
That's right.
name of it, and I'm
That's
like,
right. That's
I'm
right.
I'm like, come on, man. He said, no, he did it. And Dooley, Dooley Geechee. Dooley did that. He started too. He been the kettle. He been the kettle. I said, come on, man. You stammering bastard.
Yeah. Man, you crazy, man.
Hey,
So listen,
hey,
that was
hold on, wait a minute. Before I go, I'm gonna say something. Before I go,
yeah.
before we wrap it up. For those of y'all who know me, know I do stand-up comedy now. John David's the reason I do stand-up comedy. I do
Mm.
stand-up comedy right now because of John David. John David told me that he said the stuff that I was saying in the gym was so funny. He said you gotta tell somebody else this. Because I think the first time me and John were talking about losing weight, I told John David, I said, you know what it is, coach, in here shadow boxing butt naked with Vaseline on your nuts. John David said, what?
Yeah. Now, listen, I knew you had no sense then. I said, this brother crazy. And I'm gonna tell you, but I want to tell the fans one thing. This is my two youngest sons. Well, I would bring them to the gym with me, and I didn't realize how crazy these guys were. But as my sons got older, when I said about 16, 17, they would tell me stories of what they did at the gym with Nate and everybody else. I said, you did that at the gym with these fools? So I'm not gonna tell you what they did, but they would say things that these guys would tell them to say to the fighters and do everything. I said, you this. But it was cool because they learned from the best. So
Hey, dude,
one
it
day
was a whole bunch of
we'll talk about that.
it was a whole bunch of kids, it was a whole bunch of dudes at the gym, and these little boys were just absorbing everything. And I said, you know we're gonna get in trouble for this one day. You know, one day he gonna find out about this. So Zahami Grasso, Zahami said, by the time he find out, we'll be old.
Well, guess what? He was right because man, they started telling me these stories. I said, they did what? I can't tell the story. I let them, but it was cool. I said, you guys some fools, man. But so Nate, what I want to do, man, is I want to bring you back. I appreciate you coming on my show today, but I want to bring you back because I want to do a segment about today's fighters, first fighters of your generation and my generation. What you think about?
Well,
So I want
anytime
you
you're ready.
I want you to come back on my show,
Coach,
sure.
all you got to do is call me, coach. You have to call me one time, no matter when it is. Call me and let me know. I'm down for whatever. Anything to make John. Hey, I want to make. If I ever need to borrow money, I can always call John. So
that's true. I ain't gonna say no to that. Nate was my guy. Listen, Nate was like a young brother that I never had. Nate was a good dude, man. I get my shirt off my back from Nate. Nate was a good dude.
But let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna say this here. Of all the people that I've ever had, I ever did business with, I got some great ones. I had Jimmy Waldrop, even Terry Tracus. Terry never took nothing from me. Everybody was telling me he was, but he never took nothing from me. As a matter of fact, the reason I got a gym is because Terry gave me the money to start it. He got more money than God now. I tell you, he made a whole bunch of money selling them golf carts. And but John David Jackson has. I told somebody told me one day, say, Nate, what if you ended up with nowhere to go? I said, I always got somewhere to go. As long as John David got somewhere, I got somewhere to go. I said, I ain't never gonna be outside when it comes to that. I said, but you don't get many people that you look at. Every older brother, and I found this out. Sometimes you get that older brother that's a lot older than you by 9 or 10 or maybe 15 years. That brother becomes more than just a brother. He becomes a father figure in a lot of ways. So John David was more than just a brother to me. He was like a big brother as well as a father figure at times. Because sometimes I needed some fathering. We all do that sometimes. Sometimes you need some fathering. But for the truth of the matter is, he was my big brother. He was my big brother. He was my father figure. He kept me accountable. He wouldn't let me slack. He wouldn't let me give up on myself. You don't find many guys like that, man. You don't find many guys like that. And John, I want you guys to help me make this a great podcast, a big podcast for John David. I want him to do this. This needs to be something that if you need certain fighters, let me know. I'll find out how to get them on here. I want to help this be
Appreciate it.
the biggest thing in the world.
I appreciate that, but definitely, I appreciate that.
But hey, if you ever want me on, Coach, you know all you gotta do is call me.
Yep.
And tell my sister, man. Tell my sister I'm coming down to Miami. In October 18th, me and Randall coming down. I'm telling Randall we taking Cat to dinner.
Okay. I got you.
And we going somewhere good too. So get mad if you want to.
I really appreciate you coming in and doing the interview today, Nate. Really
Man, let me tell you something. I do anything for that guy. I do anything for that guy, man. Anything for that guy.
Appreciate you, bro. I was trying to show some highlights, share a moment with you and get your views on this real quick.
Oh, you got to go to the second round. Go to the second round on that one.
Yeah.
No, go to the second round of the Tiger Martinez fight. This is Daniel Arta. Me and Daniel Arta were sparring partners.
So what was it like sparring with this cat, man? You know, he knows he is, and what was it like?
But I knew that he couldn't. I knew that he couldn't deal with what I was bringing. I knew because we sparred. I knew I was stronger than him. I understood how much stronger I was than him. As a matter of fact, I was giving him a hard time. I said, you soft, bro. You soft. You come here soft. I am not soft. I come here on a boot.
Like I said, man, you're a German scholar. We appreciate you, Squirrel Magazine, Coach's Corner, and we got to have you back, and also to have you to come on our panel. You know, when we do the live summits on video, we got to have you back, bro. You know,
let me come back, man. Anytime. Anytime I get to spend time with John, what you need to do is get Kenny Ellis. Get Kenny Ellis, me and John on here. Yeah. Kenny's a tattletale. He gonna tell all the good stuff. John might not be able to he might not be able to do nothing but just laugh because Kenny Ellis is a fool. But Kenny go
guys definitely get you guys on the house and give you
gotta get us. Yeah, those my guys there. Thank you so much for having me, man.
So one more time before we leave, let everybody know your website and about the book so they can get the book, man. So there's a lot of stuff they didn't get to tell, man. We told a lot of good stories and stuff, but you got a book. Not only you
I got a book, and I'm in the process of writing. I'm in the process of writing another book. I'm also in the process of doing a screenplay. My book is let me show you the book. My book is on Amazon. And you can order it on Amazon. Let me show you the book. It's a book of the book of a lot of the stuff that's in this book. I wrote this a lot of stuff in this book. Find it. A lot of stuff I wrote in this book while I was in John David's house. It's like poems and just thoughts that developed. I'm trying to find the book. I can't find. Where's the book? It's a book of poems, mostly, and I cannot find the book now. Okay, I got it. This is the book. The Secret Thoughts of the Galaxy Warrior. And it's a poem book. It talks about what I was going through in so many, certain times of my in training camp. Sometimes you go through some stuff. You feel me? And I just write about it. And I would just write about stuff. And this is the book that came from that. Book of poems. Thoughts, Secret Thoughts. That's all it is. But it's a really good book. Because you get to see me raw. I didn't want to edit out so much where you couldn't see the rawness of me. I want the rawness of me to be shown also. So, The Secret Thoughts of the Galaxy Warrior. That's the book.
And can you give the website for your gym, or your website, so we can
Website.
follow
My website for the gym is Galaxy Boxing Refuge. If you're ever looking for it in Jacksonville, the Galaxy Boxing Refuge. We're at 5538 Normandy Boulevard here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 12, and we also leave. We're also here till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 5 to 9 every night. But on Friday we get out at 8 o'clock. If you ever ride by, this is the gym. It's the front of the gym. That's the address, 5538 Normandy Boulevard. Just a picture of me outside here. This is my gym logo.
and this is an amazing trick.
Drive. I think I want to say about 40,000, 30 to 40,000, 30 to 40,000 cars a day come by my gym every day.
Wow.
So we're on a well-traveled thoroughfare. This is it. It's not a big old. It's not a fancy, schmancy gym. It smells like a gym. My daughter doesn't like that, but it smells like a gym. It moves like a gym. It's a gym. It's where you come in to get the grit.
I would like to thank you again, Nate. I appreciate you so much, bro. And we got to get a part two because there's still a lot we didn't tell. A lot we get to tell. We got to have you back, bro.
Man, anytime you want me back, man, y'all can have me. JD is more than family. He's eternal to us, and everything of my family, my daughters love him. As a matter of fact, my youngest daughter and JD's birthday are 3 days apart, so they tight.
So everybody listening, we hope we leave you better, receive you a smiling face and grace anywhere you go. We want to say big thanks to the man Nate Campbell that came on today. We got to get to part two, and JD just left us for a second, but we'll see you again. Thank y'all for tapping in. Coach's Corner, GC Radio, Square Room Magazine. Thank y'all so much.
God bless y'all, man.
In a world of endless noise, one sound cuts through. GC Radio Hub. Your world, your sound. Imagine your favorite voices following you everywhere. From your smartphone to your car, your smart TV, even your virtual assistant. GC Radio Hub connects you to a universe of content. Check out our wonderful interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, live music shows and podcasts. All at your fingertips. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick TV. We're there wherever you are, because the only way to stay connected is to get connected. Download the GC Radio Hub app today and let your world come alive.